Hello! So our IEM rack is now complete. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of everything because I've had a few people who've come up to me either at shows asking how to do it, or I've had a bunch of comments, DMs, about how we've ended up building our own rack. So first things first, this is a 6U flight case. It's really light, it's made out of plastic and this kind of, I think it's aluminum or aluminium, however you want to say it. The main mixer is a Behringer XR18. This is a digital mixer and this enables us to control basically everything from our IEMs to our front of house sound if we want it. There's 16 inputs, including, well no, plus 2 auxiliary inputs, sorry. It does its own onboard Wi-Fi, but it's notoriously bad and tends to drop out in busy environments such as shows. So you basically can put a external Wi-Fi router in there, which is just there. And I literally got that from Vinted for like £5, just a 5G external router. And then that plugs in via Cat5 cable, which is just there. The mixer is then plugged into 2 MS8000 XLR splitters. And what that means is that for each single input, so say if we've got electric guitar going into input 1, that input is then sent into these mixers right there, and that splits the signal into 2 completely separate signals. So instead of having just 1 electric guitar signal, you now have 2. The reason for that is we use the XR18 to control our IEMs. And then what we do is separately send a bunch of the signals from everything else to front of house, and then the sound engineers will control the front of house sound. So these cables here are plugged into the back of these splitters. And what that means is that when we come to a show or rehearsal, we put RDIs into this top section. So as a bass player, I would put my output from my quad cortex into there, job done. It's got a ground lift should you need it. It does also have buttons for linking, so say if you want to be able to control 2 inputs at the same time rather than 1, you can press that button, but I keep having people say to remove these just so they don't get accidentally clicked. I can't really think of an instance where we would need that. So in terms of where we get our feed for our IEMs, there is labelled and numbered IEM outputs there. So we would then use an XLR cable or whatever, generally XLR to jack in the most cases of our Shure wireless IEM systems. We would then put that into the bottom, and that's really the only time that we would be using the XR18 as it is on front here. Our control of the XR18 would then be via our desktop app. So if we come around to the back of the unit, here we've got a power bar across the top. So the only power cable we need to be worrying about is this, which will just plug into a normal 240 volt, sorry, wall outlet. Everything else is then powered by this power bar, which is the Wi-Fi and the rack. You can also, if you wanted to put your IEM transmitters in here, or any other wireless systems, you could then power that just from that rack. The power bar cost me, I think it was like £10 from Vinted. It was no money at all. Here you can see the external Wi-Fi router, which I've just attached with some Velcro on there. That is connected to the front of the XR18 via this little Cat5 cable. And then we come to this big beastie bad boy. So the MS8000 splitters at the front are sending each signal into 2 separate pathways. The first pathway we are putting into the front of the XR18 for our IEMs, and then this big ass loom cable is where the other signal is going. So for each of those second outputs, we have an XLR feed here via this loom cable, and that gets given to the sound engineer for front of house mixing. What that then means is that we have complete control over our IEMs and our own mix, and we deal with all that shenanigans. But the sound engineer or whoever's mixing front of house just has all of that to control, should, you know, as they wish, really. It means that we don't have to do it. We can if we want to via the XR18, but generally we're happy to let sound engineers do their job and we do ours. So as we get to a gig, they get given this, we then run sound check, and they have all these labeled outputs, along with our tech spec sheet, which will have all the channel listings on there, as well as just general details about the rack and how we run it. The Wi-Fi router is a secure network that is only accessible by us and the sound engineer. It's password protected. So yeah, it's actually really straightforward to do. I was surprised how easy it has been to sort it out. This now stays as it is. We don't need to mess about with any other cables inside the unit. That's all plugged in, ready to go. All we would do, literally turn up to a show, give the sound engineer the loom, we put our inputs into the front of the splitters, and then we control our IEMs via mixing station or similar IEM control app. Behringer do have their own, but it's not really as good as mixing station, and you know, most musicians now just use mixing station. So yeah, that really is it. In terms of the overall cost, the biggest investments really have been in the XR18 itself, which was £300 something from eBay secondhand. The loom cable was imported from America because they're kind of hard to get hold of, and that's a Seismic audio cable, which was about £230. The case was about £70. The Wi-Fi router was a £5. The power bar was a £10. The XLR splitters around the front, they were £60 each, and there's 2 of them because you need 16 inputs outputs. I added the recessed wings, which were £25 from eBay, and that just means that all we need to do is clip it up ready to go. We don't need to unplug anything other than what we're putting into here. And then, you know, just our own IEM systems, our own pedal boards, whatever we want to do, but that's entirely separate. So yeah, I mean, the only other cost, if you want to be pedantic, is the cost of the cables. These are 1 meter XLR cables. I think I got something like 10 for £30, and I had to buy 2 lots of them because there's 16. So that's what, another £60, something like that. So if you were going to go out and buy a ready-built unit like this, it's going to be costing you a fair amount. Yes, it's taken me some time to source the stuff, research, build, etc. From the research I've done, the resale value of these is basically you get your money back for it if I was ever to sell it. The XR18 units especially are highly sought after and do hold their value really well. But in terms of the amount of time saved, the amount of time that we can now spend committing our energy and resources to putting on a good show rather than fighting with IEM mixes and things like that, we can literally plug in and we're just ready to go. If we wanted to, we could be entirely self-sufficient, run our own sound. We're trusting our guy Jim Bob to do that for us on shows, but he will be able to hook into the mixer, do all the controls, and it just makes our life so much easier. I have spoken to many tributes who feel the same way, in that managing your own IEM systems is so helpful, and saves a lot of time and money and energy, I think, more than anything. We've all suffered really bad gigs because of dodgy sound mixes, and just being able to do that yourself is, you know, really valuable and worth the investment, in my opinion. It's already proven its worth to us in rehearsals and also for our promo recording. I'm not going to divulge any details about the launch show date yet, but it will be, you know, with us for that show too. So yeah, I hope that my walkthroughs and build videos have been helpful. I have had so many comments, so many new followers, and so many people really interested in either doing it themselves, or just finding out more about it. Lots of people with opinions on the right way to do it, the wrong way to go about it. And my advice would be to just go for it, learn along the way, and just enjoy the process of actually being able to work something out for yourself. It's really valuable. It scratches a proper nerd itch in my brain. And yeah, so if anyone's got any questions or any comments at all, stick them in the comments, send me a DM. My email's on my website. Just give me a shout, or if you see me at a show, come up and grab me. I'm happy to talk about it. But for now, thanks a lot.